Iran can never get nukes. US sends strong warning to Pakistan. Hi friends, as we all know that just a few days ago, American B-2 bombers flew over Iranian skies and caused huge destruction on Iran's three major nuclear sites in Natanz, Fordo and Isfahan. The mission? Operation Midnight Hammer. The goal? To set back Iran's nuclear program before it's too late. But here's the twist. Pakistan, Iran's neighbor and longtime US ally, is now stuck in a diplomatic storm. So what's the story? Well, we'll find out in today's video. So today we'll discuss why is the US directly talking tough with Pakistan, why did Pakistan praise the US and criticize it at the very same time, and then what is India's role in all of this situation. And most importantly, has Iran's nuclear dream really been destroyed, or is it just a temporary pause before a much bigger escalation? So stick with me till the end because this video is packed with drama, diplomacy and danger, all unfolding in real time. So let's dive right in. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio warns Iran can never get nukes. Yes, you heard that right. Rubio made it absolutely clear. Iran must never, under any circumstances, develop a nuclear weapon. And he didn't say this in a press conference. He said it directly to Pakistani PM Shehbaz Sharif. Why? Because Pakistan plays a very unique and a very complicated role in the Iran issue. See, Pakistan has diplomatic ties with both Iran and the US, and in the absence of direct US Iran communications, Pakistan acts as a messenger or a backchannel. So, this statement wasn't just a random outburst, it was a strategic message sent via Pakistan to Tehran. And Rubio says, back off, stop your nuclear ambitions, or we'll act again. Rubio also emphasized that Iran's enrichment and weaponization efforts are a global threat and not just a regional area. He even said a nuclear Iran would destabilize the entire Middle East and spread terror across all the world. Also, a nuclear Iran could trigger an arms race involving Israel, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and even countries like Egypt, who would start working on their nuclear weapons as well. And this can prove to be very detrimental. So, US Pakistan talks after Israel Iran tensions escalate. Now, after the deadly Israeli strikes on Iranian military targets, things heated up very quickly. Iran responded with missile tests and Israel called it a direct provocation. Now, in between all of this, the US stepped in diplomatically and then also militarily. This is where Pakistan enters the scene. The US Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, called Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif to discuss the situation. And the aim was to prevent escalation, to use Pakistan's influence over Iran, and also to push for regional de-escalation. Now remember, Pakistan shares a long border with Iran, and both nations have shared security interests, trade routes, and Shia-Sunni dynamics as well. The US likely sees Pakistan as one of the few countries that can talk and get US messages delivered into Tehran without provoking a war. It's also a way for Washington to test Pakistan's loyalty. So US essentially wants to know, will Pakistan side with Iran or act in America's interest? So this is a big diplomatic test for Islamabad. Now let's discuss that Pakistan criticizes US strikes but also praises US diplomacy. So this is where things get really interesting. After Operation Midnight Hammer, Pakistan issued a statement saying the US airstrikes were a violation of international law. It called them aggressive, unilateral and also very dangerous. But, and this is the twist, just a day earlier, Pakistan's DGMO Asim Munir had nominated in fact US President Donald Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize for his mediation efforts in Kashmir and Afghanistan. So how do we explain all this? Well, it's called strategic doublespeak. Pakistan is trying to A. show solidarity with Iran because of geography and religion, and B. also keep its relations warm with the US because of aid, IMF pressure, and FATF scrutiny. So it's classic Pakistani diplomacy. Say one thing and do another. But in today's digital world, everyone can see through this. Even Iranian media has criticized Pakistan for betraying regional solidarity. So now, Pakistan is in a very awkward situation. Now let's discuss Operation Midnight Hammer, wherein B-2 bombers had hit Iran's nuclear sites. So this was the game changer. On June 25th, the US launched Operation Midnight Hammer, a surprise aerial strike using B-2 Spirit bombers and bunker buster bombs. Their target was to destroy Iran's deep underground nuclear facilities at Natanz, Fordo and Isfahan. Now these aren't any ordinary sites. They are heavily fortified, buried under mountains, protected by missile barriers and also air defense systems. But US didn't just hit them. It obliterated key centrifuge halls, uranium enrichment chambers, and also underground tunnels as well. So what was Iran's response? Iran said all this had just caused minimal damage and that they are still operational. But US intelligence and satellite images show a completely different story altogether. According to sources, Iran's nuclear program has been set back by at least 10 to 15 years. This wasn't just a military move, it was a message. A message by US that we are watching and we will act. India, which imports oil from Iran and maintains Chabahar port, is now in a tough situation. So India must balance strategic autonomy with Western expectations. Iran's nuclear capability is set back, but for how long? The $1 million question is, did this strike stop Iran for good? Well, short answer is no. It has delayed, of course, but not destroyed. And here's why. Because Iran still has knowledge, scientists, and designs, and also its underground labs in places like Qom remain hidden. Also, the enrichment can restart within a few months, even with less infrastructure. And remember, Iran plays the long game here. They have dealt with assassinations like their top nuclear scientist, Mohsen Fakhrizadeh, the cyber attacks called Stuxnet, and also sanctions imposed on it. But they've never fully abandoned their nuclear ambitions. Plus, the Iranian leadership is now angrier and more united. This might push them to, in fact, speed up the program secretly, just like how North Korea did. So, yes, the US and the world has bought some time, but the threat still remains. Pakistan's tightrope walk between Iran, US, and global opinion. So, if you're wondering who's in the most awkward position right now, it's not Israel, it's not Iran, it's actually Pakistan. And here's why. Because A, it shares a border with Iran, which is about 850-kilometer long border. B, it has an intelligence sharing relationship with the US. C, Pakistan relies on Gulf money, that is UAE and Saudi Arabia, etc. Then Pakistan also holds Chinese influence, or the CPEC. Also, Pakistan maintains a nuclear arsenal of its own. So when US bombs Iran and then calls Pakistan, it's like being asked to mediate a fight while sitting on fire. Any wrong move could either A, upset Iran and trigger cross-border tensions in Balochistan, or B, anger the US and also risk sanctions or IMF pressures, or even C, another Gulf states who fear Iran's rise. So far, Pakistan is trying to say, we support peace, we condemn violence, but we are also your friend. But this balancing act can't last forever. The world is watching, especially India, which is closely monitoring how Pakistan positions itself. So this is a high-stakes geopolitical drama playing out in real time. One mistake can lead to war. One move can reshape the years of global alliances, and also one missile can trigger global panic or even World War III. Now here's a question for you. What do you think Pakistan should do next? A. Support Iran openly. B. Side with the US and the West. C. Stay completely neutral. Or D. Secretly help both the sides. So you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Well, according to me, if you ask me, then I'd go with option C, that it should stay completely neutral. Why? Because Pakistan is in no position to take sides right now. Its economy is fragile, it can't afford new economic sanctions, it also needs IMF money and Chinese trades, and on top of that, it can't provoke Iranian military also. So that's it for today's video. If you found this analysis helpful, please like, share and subscribe to our channel. We break down the world's most complex conflicts in the simplest way possible. And also don't forget to hit the bell icon for more such deep dives. See you in the next one. Jai Hind.